Hi guys, and welcome to part 61 of Skyrim Mod Sanctuary. Now, I have been really busy this week, so I have not had time to find a lot of new mods to try out. So I have decided this week to answer a question that keeps coming up in lots of my videos, and that question is, well, it usually comes in the form of, your water looks absolutely incredible, which water mod do you use? And you've probably already guessed from the title, the water mod I use is Pure Waters. It's a fairly popular water mod, and I probably should have already covered this previously. In fact, it's almost criminal that I haven't, because it is more or less now my favourite water mod. There are a lot of water replacers out there, and they're all pretty good, and this one is just my favourite, and it's more a matter of personal taste than anything, so I thought I would share with you why I like this mod and why I use it. Now, I actually get asked about my settings as well, my graphical settings, quite a lot in these videos, and I'll give you a brief description of what I'm using so that you know what you're looking at throughout this video. I'm using Ultra, almost unchanged. The main exception is I've added FXAA. I'll explain at the end of this video why, but I'm using that. I am using Climates of Tamriel lighting and weather mod, and I'm using no depth of field in the shots of the water because I want to see the completely focused image. Now, if you have not been using a mod that replaces the water textures, you may be wondering why on earth people would like to replace them. The main reason for me is that the vanilla water looks very unrealistic. It's not the fact that it's low resolution, it is the fact that for some reason the height of the waves and the speed the water moves, it doesn't look like water to me. It looks thicker. It looks almost, and I've described it before and it's fairly horrific, to me it looks kind of like saliva. It's pretty disgusting when I look at it. I'm not keen on it at all. It's not very realistic, and as I said, yeah, it gives me the EBGBs, the idea of swimming in it. So that's the main reason. One other effect this slight viscosity has and the sort of strange waves is it makes the reflections of scenery very hard to see. Very hard to see indeed when compared to the water when you use a mod such as Pure Waters. As you can see here, the reflection in the Pure Waters version is much clearer and much nicer. One other thing that I like about the Pure Waters is the fact that the water is crystal clear. Now, this is definitely a personal taste thing, and it is in all probability not very realistic. I live on a river that is pretty similar to a lot of the rivers you find in Skyrim. It varies in depth, but it's about the same depth as you find in the Skyrim rivers. It changes speed at several points, and it has a few waterfalls. It even has a few water mills. And I can tell you the water is not as clear as this mod. It is possible that water can be this clear if it's not mixed with sand or dirt, but it is, shall we say, unlikely. However, it is not something that breaks immersion, at least not for me. The water just looks very inviting. You feel like you would really like to swim in it, and you would really like to drink from it. Although if you are using the Frostfall mod, it is still freezing cold. Don't go swimming. Well, if you do, don't go swimming for long and make sure you dry off afterwards. Now, one of the questions I know I'm going to get asked is, how does it compare to a mod such as Water, which is probably the most popular of the water replacer mods? And I think it compares very, very favourably. It doesn't have as many features. The water mod has quite a lot of extra things, like it has wet rocks, it reduces splashing and so forth. Whereas Pure Waters does seem to be very much basically changes the way the water looks, and that's it. So it seems a little bit more lightweight, but in the end it's probably going to come down to personal taste, I think. I think you're going to have to check out both mods, have a look at them, and just ask yourself, which one do you prefer looking at? They're both great mods though. And, well, that's about it, really. I think this is one of those mods you should just try out. There's no harm in trying it. See how it makes your game look. See if you like it. I love it. Now, I did promise I would discuss the visual mods I use and my settings at the end of this video, so that is what I'm going to do now. For weather and lighting, I use Climates of Tamriel usually. Now, I've tried a lot of different weather mods, and I do change every now and again just when I get a little bit bored. But Climates of Tamriel seems to be one I always fall back on. I do like the way it looks. A quick warning with regard to Pure Waters. Climates of Tamriel may mess up the transparent edges of water with the Pure Waters mod. I see it every now and again. It doesn't happen too often, and it's not as bad as you might think. I almost don't notice it, but it is there. I also use Realistic Lighting Overhaul. I've not done a video on that yet, but I'm going to as soon as they finish it. They seem to be preparing to release a few more things on it. It is a great mod, and I mix that with Enhanced Lighting and FX. And for Dynamic Depth of Field, I use Dynavision, my own mod. Generally when I play, I have it set to quite weak settings, unless you are talking to an NPC, and then it goes a little bit stronger. But when I do my Skyrim Mod Sanctuary videos, I tend to put it up to fairly high strength. I do run the game now on ultra settings with a few tweaks. I haven't got around to tweaking it fully at the moment. Normally I tweak the shadows quite a bit. I've not got it set correctly yet, and I've just reset it to ultra, so my shadows are pretty much the ultra shadows. The only real difference is I do use FXAA. Now, many people use FXAA as a sort of a cheap anti-aliasing because it has less of a performance drop than normal anti-aliasing. I use it on top of the anti-aliasing. And it's not to improve the anti-aliasing, actually. I just like the way it softens the textures in game. I think the textures look a tiny bit more realistic. The edges blend in a little bit better, and the textures don't look as obviously computerized. But that is it. Those are the settings I use when making these recordings. I do actually add all of the mods I use to the description of my videos, at least the visual ones in the Skyrim Mod Sanctuary, so you can always check which visual mods I'm using down there. Installation of Pure Waters is pretty easy. Go along to the file section, hit download with Manager on the main file. If you have Dawnguard or Dragonborn, download with Manager on those. I have both, so I download with Manager on those. Then activate them in that order. Just the main one, then the Dawnguard one, and Dragonborn. It's pretty simple. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. We're going to end, as always, with some screenshots that you guys have posted. If you want to post screenshots, I will leave a link down below. You're more than welcome to post them. I try to get as many as I can on each video. They're really great, way better than I could do, so I do appreciate you guys posting those. I hope you found the video helpful and enjoyable. If you did, remember, please click the like button. I always appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you guys for whichever video you decide to join me for. And until then, as always, have fun.